Relationship with the body. Key mental health concepts. Body image. Under-identification and over-identification with the body. Thin ideal. Health at every size. Interoception. Weight stigma. Our bodies and mental health.
The body carries us through life. It's no wonder that research links taking care of our bodies to mental health, emotional regulation, and well-being. To be healthy, our bodies need a balance of exertion and rest. Exercising as little as 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, can be as effective as medication in the treatment of mild to moderate anxiety and depression. Dr. Michael Craig Miller from Harvard Medical School states, in people who are depressed, neuroscientists have noticed that the hippocampus in the brain, that's the region that helps regulate mood, is smaller. Exercise supports nerve cell growth in the hippocampus, improving nerve cell connections which help relieve depression. Research also shows that moderately intensive exercise and a well-balanced diet improve brain function, contributing to a better working memory and the ability to think flexibly. And, increasingly, research finds that exercise can help emotional resilience, our ability to handle day-to-day setbacks and adversity. By stressing our physical muscles regularly, we increase the capacity of our emotional muscle, or our window of tolerance. We can change how we respond to stress through physical activity. The brain and body need exercise for mental health, and they also need rest. The combination of regular exercise, which activates the sympathetic part of our nervous system, and regular rest and relaxation, which activates the parasympathetic or rest and digest system, keeps our nervous system balanced. During the sleep cycle, the human brain undergoes various stages of rest in the different regions of the brain. Within these stages, the brain performs crucial tasks such as the assessment and consolidation of thoughts and memories. Insufficient sleep negatively impacts this process. The REM, rapid eye movement, sleep phase, plays a fundamental role in the processing of emotional information by the brain and is particularly essential for functions such as memory learning and creativity. Additionally, delta sleep, also known as deep sleep, significantly contributes to brain function, memory, and metabolism, all functions of our body that reduce fatigue when attended to. When you rest, your body naturally reduces the levels of cortisol and other stress hormones. Well-rested people have been shown to stay calmer and react less strongly to negative situations. With all the influence rest and exercise have on mental health, we take the time in this last chapter to look at the interconnection between thoughts, emotions, and the body. Rather than explore how to take care of your body from the outside in, like how to change how you look, we explore how to care for your body from the inside out. We begin to explore how stress, trauma, and cultural pressures influence your relationship with your body, and how to stay in your window of tolerance by listening to and accepting your body. We explore science-backed activities that show us how listening to our bodies can guide us to better health. We know that trauma and chronic stress dysregulate the nervous system. By reimagining your relationship with exercise, rest, and food, you can find meaningful and enjoyable ways for taking care of your mental and physical health.
How your body helps you stay healthy.
Too often, we see the body as an enemy, and we frame self-care as taking care of our bodies. However, your body can also take care of you. Your body signals when you are hungry, thirsty, tired, full, excited, angry, and in love. Your body can inform you that you need to establish a boundary, reduce your stress, or stretch out your muscles. The question then becomes, how do you listen to your body to stay emotionally regulated and healthy? As discussed in earlier chapters, top-down processing refers to using the mind, or thinking differently to influence how we behave and feel. Many of the skills practiced up to this point use top-down techniques, such as observing thoughts and emotions, comparing the level of a problem to the intensity of an emotional response, and engaging in compassionate self-talk. Sometimes this is really hard to do, and you may need other strategies, ones that are mind-based but body-based. Many people, when asked what they do to take care of stress, report body-based strategies like exercise, walking in nature, sinking into a hot bath, or petting their animals. These types of practices affect our bodies, which then send signals of calm to the brain. We call this bottom-up processing, which includes diaphragmatic breathing, the reaction of our bodies to heat or cold, and listening to music. These activities change our nervous system without us having to try by changing how we think, and they can automatically affect our nervous system when incorporated into our everyday routines. Bottom-up processing uses the body to change how we think and feel, changing our thoughts and emotions by using our bodies as tools for self-regulation. In a healthy relationship with the body, we utilize both coping methods, top-down and bottom-up processing, developing kind and compassionate inner conversations with and about the body, as well as a deep understanding of bodily strategies that calm our nervous system when we are stressed. Having all of these options helps us stay more often in our window of tolerance. Healthy emotional relationships in general rely on mutual respect, trust, support, and good communication, and a sense of playfulness is always helpful. In the face of unrealistic expectations of perfection or performance, these relationships suffer. Our relationship with our body is no different. It requires compassion, care, knowledge, and encouragement to develop sustainable habits of self-care. Conversely, having unrealistic expectations for our bodies can lead to unhealthy relationships with exercise and food, as well as poor mental health. If we blame, ignore, or live in a state of constant disappointment, it's hard to maintain a caring or accepting attitude. We don't usually take care of things we don't like or appreciate.
Are you your body?
Picture yourself as a baby, then when you were 5 and 15, and now. You look quite different at every age. Realizing this can help us have a more flexible and realistic relationship with our bodies and ourselves as we go through various stages of change. And, once again, we can call upon the observer self to help us get there. As was true in our exploration in previous chapters of the breath, emotions, and thoughts, you can use the observer self to help develop a healthier relationship with your body throughout your life. We know accepting body-based change can be very difficult. In the dominant U.S. culture and in many other cultures where a prevailing belief is that our bodies define our worth, or where there is a narrow version of beauty, it can be hard to accept all the aspects of the body we were born with. For instance, our height, weight, physical ability, hair color and texture, facial features, and skin tone. In many cultures, our bodies and how they appear, or their abilities, are often viewed as problems or deficient. Social media, television, film, and magazines all constantly promote images of ideal body types and ways of looking that are unrealistic for most of us. However, we are starting to see signs that values and beliefs are shifting as acceptance increases of gender identities, age-related changes, and diverse body types. Recent research finds, for instance, that weight is a lesser indicator of health than previously thought. According to Dr. Nicole Kelly, a professor at the University of Oregon, she states society fixates on weight as the main measure of fitness, despite the fact that eating habits, exercise, and sleep are all better predictors of health. Feeling a lack of social support is a better predictor of premature morbidity and mortality than weight. How do we help people feel more supported and less alone? She believes we are misdirected in our efforts to help people be healthier and happier.
Under-identification and over-identification.
Two key concepts that we can use to develop a healthier relationship with the body are under-identification and over-identification. Under-identification shows up as a neglectful relationship with our bodies, where even basic needs are ignored. This may happen because we're too busy or because we feel shame about the body. When we under-identify with the body, we operate as though our bodies are the enemy and ignore its needs for rest, exercise, and healthy eating. A few common examples are drinking a caffeine-loaded cup or 2 or 3 of coffee to keep forcing ourselves to stay awake, ignoring hunger because of being too busy to eat, or the opposite, ignoring feeling full. On the other hand, over-identification, can we do that again?
We're just going to start it on the other hand.
Yeah. On the other hand, over-identification might look like being overly concerned with our appearance, so that how we look has a huge effect on how we feel about ourselves or function day to day. For example, someone not going to a party because their hair came out wrong or they feel fat. When our identities are overly wrapped up in how we look or what's going on with our bodies, that relationship between ourselves and the body becomes enmeshed. In other words, our mood, behavior, and sense of well-being are dependent on the body appearing or functioning in a certain way. We may be a lot more forgiving when it comes to other people, like we don't think any less of a friend when their hair is messy or they gain or lose a few pounds. But for ourselves, those situations may challenge us to the point that we lose sight of who we are at a deeper level. Under-identifying and over-identifying with the body are coping mechanisms in response to uncomfortable feelings about the body or its changes. To recap, when our reaction is to under-identify, there's too little focus on the body, or we avoid thinking about it. When we over-identify, we have too much focus on our body, and we may try to excessively control it.
Let's practice under-identification and over-identification. Think of times when you under-identified with your body and ignored its cues. Can you think of 2 or 3 examples? Write them down. Now think of a time you over-identified with your body, paying too much attention to it. What are some examples you can think of? Write those down. How might under and over-identifying negatively affect your health and well-being? How do you think what you see in the media affects body image and self-talk? Listening to the body, the power of interoception.
We all have a friend or family member whose mood completely depends on the mood of their partner. If their partner is upset, they are equally upset. If their partner is depressed, they become depressed. The emotional boundaries between the two people are unclear. And with no healthy boundaries, it is very difficult to have a healthy relationship. The relationship with our body and our thoughts and emotions that we discussed in previous chapters is no different. We can become too close or enmeshed to see the separation clearly. For example, sometimes we look at a cake and think, wow, that looks good. I could eat the entire thing. In those kinds of situations, we are listening to a thought or an emotion rather than an actual hunger cue. In the same way, we may lie on the couch binge watching TV when we are sluggish, misunderstanding the body's cue that it instead needs to get moving. It's understandable why in these situations happen, but in general, bodies don't like being tired, overly full, stagnant, or hungry. With practice, we can get better at noticing the difference between cues our body is sending versus thoughts and feelings. Some research suggests that the dieting cycle of gaining and losing weight can actually inhibit the body's ability to feel satiated after eating. Therefore, for those who cannot tune into hunger cues, a healthy relationship with food and body may be related more to understanding healthy intake and nutrition rather than listening to the body. We can use our observer self, for instance, to eat with more attunement or notice we are tired and not lazy to take a rest. We can tune into the way our body and mind react when we get hungry, full, or anxious. In this way, we develop a compassionate and empathetic relationship with our body, and we use the body to focus attention and respond to self-care needs, such as hunger, rest, or movement. This kind of physiological awareness and regulation is called interoception. Interoception is a crucial skill for stress reduction, self-management, mental and emotional well-being, and learning. It is important in the development of positive or negative body image and the development of lifelong beliefs and habits related to the body and exercise. We understand that developing a healthy relationship with the body is neither easy or instantaneous. There are many very real physical, emotional, cultural, and time-related challenges. But by finding ways to begin to focus attention on interoception and other mindfulness-based practices, over time you can reshape your relationship with your body to one of cooperation and care. That's what we explore in the rest of this chapter.
What keeps us from a healthy relationship with our bodies?
The thin ideal. The dominant messages in the United States about how to relate to our bodies are often convoluted. Very few of us come into adulthood with a healthy body image. And no wonder. From a very young age, we receive messages about how a body should look. Children's books, toys, and cartoons all send toxic messages about the ideal body. As adults, we continue to absorb these messages from the media every day. These messages typically reinforce what is called the thin ideal, the notion that the thinner the body, the better. That thinness leads to better health, more success, and happiness. The thin ideal fuels weight stigma by lending it social acceptability. We as humans are not supposed to all look alike. And rather than focusing on the behaviors that create overall health in individuals, such as healthy eating, exercise, and emotional regulation, the thin ideal of the dominant culture instead encourages people to focus on appearance and thinness as an indicator of health and success. In reality, we know that people who are thin and look good can be very unhealthy and have an unhealthy relationship with the body that includes calorie restriction, poor nutrition, and body hatred. And people who have larger bodies can be and often are very healthy. Research shows that adhering to the thin ideal can have detrimental effects on health and well-being, including increased body-focused anxiety, negative emotions, and poor self-esteem. Importantly, these unrealistic pressures inhibit a trusting relationship with the body. Media and consumerism support a goal of zero fat in dieting, and encourage perfectionism instead of embracing and promoting the natural diversity of body types and the habits that are good health indicators of every body type. One approach that has gained recognition in recent years is health at every size, developed by Linda Bacon, which supports the perspective that well-being and healthy habits are more important than body weight. Weight stigma. Adding to the dominant messages of the thin ideal is weight stigma, which devalues people who do not fit into the prevailing societal norms for weight, body shape, and size. Weight discrimination is pervasive in our culture, but may often go unrecognized because it is deemed a socially acceptable form of bias. As with other forms of discrimination, weight stigma carries detrimental physical and mental health-related consequences for the people who are at its target, including heightened mortality, heightened levels of substance abuse, and increased risk of depression and anxiety. Weight-based stereotypes that large-bodied people are lazy, have poor willpower, and are unattractive give way to prejudice and systematic discrimination in the workplace, education, healthcare, and at fitness centers. Although some believe that applying social pressure to lose weight can be effective, Yale Health researchers Rebecca Poole and Chelsea Hewer state that weight stigma is not a beneficial public health tool for reducing obesity. Rather, stigmatization of obese individuals threatens health, generates health disparities, and interferes with effective obesity intervention efforts. Actively countering discriminatory weight and body-related messages and beliefs can help remediate the negative health effects of fat shaming, teaching healthy behaviors while celebrating the natural diversity in body size and shape is essential to changing the current culture towards health and well-being for all. Weight, the dieting myth, and body acceptance. Counter to what most people believe, research supports the facts that focusing on weight does not actually encourage people to lose weight or adopt healthy habits. As a result, the majority of people who diet to lose weight are unable to maintain the weight loss over the long term and often even gain weight. Body acceptance helps empower people to take care of themselves as they are, developing healthy, attainable lifestyle habits. Importantly, this acceptance of diversity in body size and shape has shown to increase health-positive behaviors. Having realistic expectations and body acceptance brings us into our window of tolerance, increasing emotional stability and embodiment over dissociation from the body, making us more likely to make healthy life decisions. Promoting this kind of culture of health can help improve mental and physical health and decrease shaming, bullying, and judgment about body size.
Let's practice. Practice 2, body image and self-compassion, self-talk. As we noticed in Chapter 5, Relationship with Thoughts, we are often very hard on ourselves without realizing it. How we talk to ourselves makes a big difference in our mental health, which includes the conversations we have with our bodies. How often do you hear someone actually appreciating their body? Thank you, feet, for getting me where I need to go all day. Wow, totally amazing that I can hike up this hill or run or walk a mile. The first may seem far-fetched, but the second, that's pure personal appreciation for what your body can do. Instead, for many of us, our self-talk focuses on the negative, what we don't like about our looks, rather than the opposite, what looks or feels good. Bodies do a lot for us, and being thoughtful about how we relate to our bodies can make the difference between being healthy and energized or being stressed and depressed. Appreciating and getting to know our bodies with curiosity helps us take good care through each stage of our life. The practice. Take some time to think about the following questions. Do you talk to or about your body like you would a good friend? What belief or beliefs underlie how you relate to your body? How do you take care of your body? Examples like food, exercise, rest, and relaxation. Anatomy and physiology, the enteric nervous system.
In previous chapters, we saw that the body is constantly communicating information up to the brain through the vagus nerve. In this chapter, we explore how, because of this bottom-up communication, we can use the body to regulate our emotions. As mentioned previously, these body-based, bottom-up practices that use our senses can often be less effortful and produce more immediate change than top-down or cognitive-based practices such as self-talk. In this section, we want to highlight another part of the nervous system that is intricately related to the vagus nerve and bottom-up regulation, the enteric nervous system, referred to as ENS. Like the vagus nerve, The ENS is integral to sending information from the body to the brain. Understanding how the ENS works can help us navigate mental health in new ways. The ENS, often referred to as the second brain or the gut-brain axis, is responsible for digestion, and recent studies have found that the digestive system has major implications for mental and emotional health. We all know that anxiety can affect digestion and that people who are stressed often complain about stomach aches. The ENS is largely responsible for these symptoms. The ENS is composed of two thin layers of more than 100 million nerve cells lining our gastrointestinal tract, from the esophagus to the rectum. It is mostly independent of the central nervous system and is generally regulated by the sympathetic and parasympathetic parts of the nervous system, which we discussed in Chapter 3, Relationship with Breath. In this chapter, we learned that while the sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal, the parasympathetic nervous system, or PNS, constitutes the brakes and is responsible for helping us relax by slowing down our heartbeat and lowering our blood pressure. The PNS is also helpful in getting us into rest and digestion modes, and it does this by activating the ENS. When we are in a relaxed state, the PNS stimulates the enteric function, enhancing digestion. Alternately, the sympathetic nervous system inhibits enteric function. This is why, when we are stressed, we may get stomach aches or not be able to eat. When we relax, our ENS is activated, and nutrients and neurotransmitters flow more freely through the body. Digestion involves a complex series of hormonal signals between the gut and the nervous system, and it seems to take about 20 minutes for the brain to register fullness. If someone eats too quickly, fullness may occur after overeating instead of putting a stop to it. There's also reason to believe that eating while we're distracted by activities like driving or typing may slow down or stop digestion in a manner similar to how the fight or flight response does. And if we're not digesting well, we may be missing out on the full nutritive value of some of the foods we're consuming. For all of these reasons, digestion has a large influence over our mood. Beyond its nutritional function, the ENS is also important for mental and emotional health. It can trigger emotional shifts by sending signals to the brain through neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters play a critical role in maintaining both homeostasis, which is a stable equilibrium, and chronic stress in the body. Researchers and doctors at Johns Hopkins University thought that anxiety and depression contributed to problems like bloating, diarrhea, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, and pain. But new studies are finding that it may also be the other way around. Irritation in the gut may be responsible for sending neurotransmitters to the brain that trigger anxiety or depression. For example, the ENS uses more than 30 neurotransmitters, many identical to those in the brain, such as acetylcholine, dopamine, and serotonin. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that carry signals from nerve cells called neurons to other nerve cells, muscle cells, or glands. In fact, more than 90% of the body's serotonin, which influences learning, memory, and happiness, and regulates hunger, among other things, and about 50% of the body's dopamine, a chemical in the brain that makes you feel good, are located in the gut. With that information, we can see why taking care of our gut is essential to mental and emotional health for so many reasons. The practice of mindful eating. In Chapter 2, Relationship with the Observer Self, we introduced a practice to mindful eating to focus attention and build awareness. We can expand on the ideas introduced there by identifying approaches to mindful eating, which include taking note of emotionally eating when not hungry, eating slowly and really tasting food, Remember, it takes 20 minutes to register fullness. Filling up to full rather than overly full. Incorporating satiating foods into diets to reduce cravings, such as bananas, yogurt, cheese, avocados, nuts, and beans. Noticing how the things you eat affect how you feel, energized or lethargic. Other approaches can include creating routines, just like with exercise, that may help decrease food-based decision fatigue or mindless eating. And then there is portion size and specifically identifying foods that make you feel energized and satisfied as part of learning what works for you and your mind and body. Some people eat smaller amounts throughout the day, and some eat 3 satiating meals and don't snack between. Taking the time to find your unique relationship and your routines with food is not easy, but can lead to lifelong benefits in both your mental and physical health.
Body-based practices, exercise for mental health.
Just like how our relationship to food affects our mental health, our values and beliefs about exercise can do the same. Developing a compassionate relationship with movement and exercise goes beyond losing weight or getting toned. Movement can help us regulate our nervous systems, and we can also use movement and the body to focus attention and relieve the mind. We can use movement to upregulate or downregulate our nervous systems. By doing more vigorous exercise, like lifting weights or dancing, we may be able to increase energy and help with depression. On the other hand, more restorative practices like walking in nature and stretching can calm anxiety and help us feel rejuvenated. In addition, being active can be used as a mindfulness tool to anchor our attention. For example, going out to shoot hoops or taking a hip-hop class helps with focusing on the movement of the body and being in the present moment with full attention. For some people, part of the appeal of focused exercise or movement is that it pauses or redirects the incessant worry and rumination going on in the mind. So we can think of exercise as a way to stay emotionally regulated and healthy. Imagine if we all responded to stress by saying, "I need to go for a walk." Not only would we all be more physically healthy, but we would probably have better relationships and better overall mental health by maintaining our window of tolerance. Because exercising releases chemicals in our bodies that actually calm us down and increase our ability to think clearly. Pause for reflection. We know that most people don't get enough exercise, even though they know that it helps their health and well-being. Why do you think this is? Some possibilities include we can be harsh with ourselves sometimes, and that affects our mood and motivation. We can get caught in shaming thoughts. Notice the difference between saying to yourself, "I better go exercise or I'm going to get fat," versus, "I want to exercise because it will make me feel better." How different does that feel? We get caught judging ourselves about our body's ability to move or exercise, like thinking, "I'm not good at it," or "I'll look dumb." Ironically, our thoughts about exercise are often what's hindering us from reaping the mental health benefits of it. We tend to think that all people need to exercise in the same way or be athletic, which can impact our motivation. For example, if we think we need to go out and run 3 miles or do an hour of hardcore workouts every day, we may just throw in the towel before we get started. But actually, people can be very healthy by doing everyday activities like walking, gardening, dancing, and even cleaning their houses. Non-athletic people can be active and healthy, and many people may not like traditional sports. Instead of being hard on yourself to get motivated to move and stay healthy, research shows that self-compassion increases healthy behaviors and motivation, and can decrease symptoms of anxiety and depression.
Movement to increase calm and focus. The balancing effect of yoga.
We can use movement to help give us more energy, calm us down, or focus our attention and increase our awareness of what's going on in our bodies and mind and with our emotions. Certain types of activities are especially helpful to increasing calm and focus. Embodying activities are those that increase our awareness of how the body feels and functions in ways that increase our self-confidence. Yoga, in particular, has been found to help improve body image and decrease self-criticism of the body. Many people think of yoga as exercise, but yoga is really a moving meditation where the body is used as a tool to help us remain very present in the moment with our internal conversations and sensations. In one study, teens were assigned to either a yoga class or their usual PE class. After 12 weeks, the students in yoga were found to spend less time worrying about their physical appearance than the students in the regular PE group. They also appreciated their bodies more and expressed more positive body image. These effects were especially strong for girls. Other studies have shown that yoga may help support a positive body image and increase interoception, or the awareness of the physiological state of the body. We begin to explore yoga to develop more body awareness from the inside out. The word yoga actually means union, and practicing yoga can help create a healthy balance between relaxation and exercise and mind and body. Through yoga, we can explore ways to activate the parasympathetic nervous system when we are stressed, or ways to activate the sympathetic nervous system if we are depressed, to help us come back into balance. In yoga, this balance is achieved by moving between relaxation and exertion regularly so that your nervous system remains balanced. Many yoga sequences move from an activating pose to a relaxing pose. Just like with regular exercise, we need to rest our muscles after a workout to allow them to heal. Practices that alternate between rest and exertion activate the vagus nerve, which signals our body to relax and de-stress. Ideally, each individual is able to create practices that help them deal with stress appropriately so they don't get stuck in perpetual stress mode. It is important to note that everyone's body is different, and what is healthy for one person may not be for another. Getting to know your own body and the physical activities that make you feel healthy is a foundation of yoga practice.
Let's practice. What follows is a series of yoga practices to tap during your everyday, to focus your attention and downregulate the nervous system. Practice number 3, mindful movement, forward bend. Stand up or stay seated and begin by grounding your feet, feeling them solid on the floor. Inhale and slowly raise your arms up over your head, looking up at your hands. Exhale and slowly lower your hands down as you bend forward. Exhale all the way. Now, take 2 deep, long breaths in this pose. After your second breath, gently inhale and begin to rise, arms overhead. Exhale as you bring your arms down by your side. Mindful movement, gentle twist. Take a moment to settle into your chair or sit up straight on a mat. Again, use your breath to turn your attention from outer to inner observing. Push down into the floor or seat. Notice your spine rising. Slowly begin to twist to the right, using your arms to gently assist the movement until you feel a natural stopping point. No pain or intense movement should be used. Now take 3 deep, long breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. After the third breath, gently unwind. Repeat on your other side. Mindful movement, gentle back bend. Now let's try another mindful movement. Again, sit up tall in your seat. Bring your hands overhead and clasp your hands behind your head. Plant your feet on the floor and feel the solidness of the ground beneath your feet. Arc your upper back into your hands slightly, opening up your chest area and expanding your shoulders down toward your back. Take 3 deep, long breaths. Let your body come back to sitting and lower your arms back down by your side. Notice how you feel in the pose. Notice if you feel more or less tension or anxiety. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice any effects on emotions or thoughts. Did that brief mindful movement sequence affect your window of tolerance or sense of calm? Did it make you feel more or less anxious? What about the movements themselves? Were there movements you liked better than others? Did some movements affect your mood differently than others? For example, did one feel more calming or energizing than another? Did some movements affect your mood differently than others? For example, did one feel more calming or energizing than another? By checking in, we can discover what movements work best for our individual bodies and minds.
Good.
As we become more aware of how our values and beliefs about bodies influence our mental health, we can help shift our relationship with our body and learn not only to accept diverse body types, gender identities, and age-related changes, but to appreciate our bodies through all of its stages. Having unrealistic expectations or being under or over-identified with our bodies decreases our health behaviors and takes our time and attention away from our deepest values. A healthy body image means we can accept, appreciate, and respect our body. This is not the same as body satisfaction, as you can be dissatisfied with aspects of your body, yet still be able to accept it for all its limitations. Good communication with the body and compassionate self-talk supports us in taking better care of ourselves. The goal of a mindful relationship is to treat yourself and your body as you would a dear friend. Finally, we can use the body to focus our attention. We can use activity to interrupt rumination. And movement can be a bottom-up intervention directly affecting our nervous system. In an activity, using progressive muscle relaxation, we practice focusing the mind and relaxing the body. We may notice areas where we hold tension and be able to release. We may notice areas where we're able to completely relax and use this feeling to help other areas relax. With practice, we can use this activity to deactivate the stress response and help our bodies come back to homeostasis and heal. Remember, be kind and compassionate to your body as a form of care. Balance rest and relaxation with exercise for good health. Take time to know your body's needs. Everyone is different. Try to listen carefully to your body's signals. Notice when you're hungry, tired, or need exercise. Think about what you do each day to care for your body from the inside out.